What's up, nerds? We are your hosts this week. I'm Chad.
And I am Jake.
This week, we are sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We are also sponsored by Cry Baby Craig's Hot Sauce. This week forgot it was me.
That's all good,
leave
man.
it, just leave it in. It's
Yeah,
fine. Everyone
absolutely.
knows I'm a fuck up. This week we have an awesome guest. His name is Micael. You can find him online. And his handle is the Black Gay Comic Geek. So let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast.
Nerd.
Welcome back to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd. Chadley, how's your week been?
My week has been honestly quite uneventful. I no longer have COVID, which is great, but there's been some trauma, shared trauma, and that's really the only eventful and at the same time heartbreaking thing that happened to me this week. So why don't you talk about it, Jake?
Well, I saw you this week. It was recently, and
less than ideal situation.
My dog, my Rottweiler, Rogie, she had cancer a couple years ago. We amputated her leg to stop the spread of the cancer. A year and 7 months later, the cancer spread to her spine. She was paralyzed from the spine down. We found out from taking her to the vet that cancer had spread, and I unfortunately had to put my best friend down this week. It was really hard. You know this. I've cried to you.
Yeah. It was very heartbreaking, and saying, I mean, she wasn't even my dog, but saying
Chad
goodbye was very hard because I loved your dog before I even met my dog.
No.
So I'm very sorry.
That's rough.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
No. You saying that made it into a joke, but it was very challenging, and I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
But at the same time, she's no longer suffering. So there's a silver lining is still only silver compared to gold.
Been really hard. I did not that any dog ever will replace or compare to the dog that I had.
Way to live up to those standards, next dog.
Beautiful, wonderful, amazing girlfriend gave me an early birthday present. My birthday is in August, and she got me a new puppy, and it is a Rottweiler mix. And I will introduce you all to her next week.
She's adorable.
Yeah,
she's a cutie, but
she's a monster.
She's a puppy, but we do miss Rogue, and we will always miss Rogue. But
love you, Rogie. But
not to take up any more time. So this week we are doing an interview, and that's going to take up the entire episode, partially because of Jake having to say goodbye to his best friend. But to not take up any more time with this banter, we're going to get into our interview with Micael after a quick word from our sponsor, which is Ray's Energy Drinks. Listen up. We'll be right back with you. Learn how to save 15%. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Ray's Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with zero crash. Ray's Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their refresh formula technology, Ray's Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Ray's Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you. Welcome back, everyone. This week we have a really awesome guest for you. He is known for being an advocate for equal and accurate representation in media, as well as underrepresented individuals and groups, including but not just limited to the LGBTQIA plus community, minorities, and so much more. So please welcome to the show, Micael, the Black Gay Comic Geek.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. Well, before we fire off on some questions with you, cheers. And everybody welcome Micael.
Let me pour Jose Cuervo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't pour yet.
All good.
All right, there we go. Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, I need a lime.
So good, though.
What did you guys have?
We also had tequila.
All right, we think alike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've rocked the 1800 over here as well.
I think I got 1800 too, but yeah, that's the first thing Jose Cuervo was the first thing I saw. So
Perfect.
All right. Well, if you don't mind just jumping into it, why don't you tell us about yourself? Who is Micael? Tell us what you're doing.
All right, well, hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Micael, Black Gay Comic Geek. I always say the things that I love to talk about on my channel, which you can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Black Gay on Facebook too, but I don't really use Facebook. That's for the old people. But like Facebook as well. You can find all Black Gay Comic Geek. And I always say the things that I love to talk about has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the force. I like to talk superheroes, video games, comic books, action movies, horror movies, sci-fi, fantasy, black, and of course, my name is Black Gay Comic Geek, and I like to talk about black representation and queer representation, or a lot of times the lack thereof in these sci-fi fantasy properties. So that's something that you're interested in, give me a follow and become what I call my safe haven ears, because I always say in my intro of every video, welcome to my safe haven, because that's what I want to create in this content creation space, a space for queer nerds and queer geeks, particularly Black queer nerds and queer geeks, but all are welcome. So
Fantastic.
Love it.
That's my little spiel right there.
You gotta talk Chad into getting into horror stuff. He's scared of horror movies. He won't watch them.
I still have to review the Black Phone, but I love like horror movies is actually how I got into nerddom. Like Nightmare on Elm Street and Interview with the Vampires, like my favorite movie as a kid.
Yeah.
The Halloween movies, Child's like I wanted a Chucky doll when I was like 6, but my mother wouldn't let me get one. So
My mom.
Yeah, right. Do you watch What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show at all?
I didn't see the TV show. I saw the movie.
They reference in the first season. They reference Interview with the Vampire. It's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah. I'm actually excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited about the show that's coming out in I think August. Based interview with the Vampire. They're doing
I just saw that like yesterday. Yeah. I wasn't sure how serious to take it, but
no, I'm curious because I'm curious of what they're gonna do because I'm a little nervous about it because they cast Louis as I don't know if you guys are fans of Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah,
but the person that plays Grey Worm,
oh yeah, they
cast him as Louis, and I'm like, but Louis is a slave owner in the books, so how does this work that he's black? Right. So I don't know. They said they're changing it to make him an owner of a brothel, but I'm still just like, but that still doesn't really make sense in the 1700s. Yeah. But we'll see what they do. I don't know. It could be incredible. It could be great. Hopefully they have black people writing that because like that could be very complicated and Yeah, but like I don't know. We'll see. I'm still curious to see what they do. And then even this the dynamic between Louis and Lestat, like if you have Louis be black, like it just changes their whole dynamic. Like
Right.
I don't know. I'm not gonna go on a rant
It
about
could
it.
get
But
weird. No, go for it. Yeah, we love it. That's what we do.
I'm very curious of what they're gonna do because it's not to me. It doesn't make like it's not gonna make sense.
The whole way how this whole thing started was Chad and I would just call each other drunk or FaceTime each other drunk and just bullshit about like nerdy stuff. And we were like, hey, let's do a podcast. And we were like, all right. So we love the ranting. I love it. Also, that guy, I already forgot his name, but
What's his
Raleigh-
acronym? Raleigh Ritchie is his like.
Raleigh Ritchie is his
former name.
artist name. He's one of my favorite artists. Like he sings music. I don't know if you have listened to any of his music.
I've heard one song. I can't remember which song, but
Oh my gosh, he's
I can look it up
fantastic.
right now. What the Jacob Anderson? There we go.
Jacob Anderson, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I love his music.
His music is so good. I think
Constant rotation. You showed
Yeah.
him to me.
I like
They were,
drunkenly listened to it and I was like, oh my God, it's Grey Worm. And I sent it to him at, whatever time it was. And he was like, I've been listening to this album all day.
Yeah, so I'm glad to see him getting more work outside of Game
Yeah.
of Thrones, but just like
Yeah, that could be sketchy.
Louis.
Yeah.
it can cause some issues.
And I have the books, like my bookshelf is like right here. So like I have the Interview with the Vampire books. So I'm an Interview with the Vampire fan. I love
Oh, yeah.
vampires. Like Buffy the
Yeah.
Vampire Slayer is my favorite. Like vampires were my favorite supernatural creature. Until now I'm more of a magic person. So witches and warlocks and all that. But like, I don't know. It's just I'm just like, I need to see what they do.
Yeah.
What streaming service is that going to be on, or is it going to be just on like?
I think it's gonna be it's like regular TV. Oh wait, loud noise. Yeah, it's gonna be on regular TV. It's gonna be an AMC. So the same network
okay.
as Walking Dead.
AMC gets away with a lot of shit though, so it could be good.
Yeah. I'm like regular TV. Like we still do that. we still do that.
Perfect. So, kind of like as the world of like comics, movies, and just media in general stands, how are things currently for like the LGBTQIA plus and like minority cultures, and where do you see it heading? Is it getting better, and does it feel like it's authentic and like respectful to like these underrepresented communities?
I would say that like, I mean, yeah, things are getting better-ish, but like I take a quote from like Dr. King when it comes to like representation in the media, where he said the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And that's kind of how I feel with regards to that. Like it's a long, slow process. And like, yeah, we're slowly getting it, but at the same time, it's still frustrating in the sense of like, take the Rise of Skywalker, for example, where J.J. Abrams would do a whole act. Can I curse?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Well, all right. Fuck yeah. So yeah, like J.J. Abrams would do a whole ass interview saying like, oh yeah, doing LGBTQ representation in my movies and properties is super important to me. And so that's why I made it, a point to include some queer representation in the Rise of Skywalker. And then you watch the Rise of Skywalker, and it's literally at the end of the movie with two characters that you know jack shit about. They have no lines in the movie, and it's like literally a blink and you'll miss it kiss. And it's like, so that was the important queer representation. Like, and it was so inconsequential that the China was able to remove it from the movie, and it literally changes nothing about the movie. So like, I feel like that's where we are now when it comes to queer representation. Like a lot of it is like a blink and you'll miss it moment.
Yeah.
And you have these studios and companies like, yay, queer, like waving the queer flag. Like Lucasfilm last year made their logo into like a rainbow logo for Pride. And I'm like, well, y'all are the main ones that didn't want Finn and Poe to be together, despite Oscar Isaac begging for it to, like, I could show you interviews of him. He said he begged the studio to go the route of Finn and Poe being lovers. And even he said he played romance, but the studio didn't want to do it for whatever reason, even though it makes complete fucking sense to me.
Yeah.
Even
Agreed.
like their on-screen chemistry, like it made sense that they
Even John Boyega was down for it.
Yeah. Crazy. And JJ Abrams also did kind of a, like you said, it's like a blink and you'll miss it in Star Trek 3 Beyond, is it?
Oh yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see
Oh.
that one. But yeah, I heard about like Sulu,
Yeah.
his husband showing up, and they like
Yeah, but it's literally like a snap and you miss it. It's like a hug and a kiss, and that's all they do with it. Yeah.
and
So
it's trash because like straight characters get all types of romance, love, sex scenes, all that other, but it's like when it comes to queer representation in media, a lot of times it's just subtext. I'm tired of subtext. I want fucking text.
yeah.
Right.
Heck yeah. Well, hope maybe Brie Larson will get it. We'll see what happens with the future of Miss Marvel.
I doubt it, because I feel like if they could have did it with Captain Marvel, like with her and Maria Rambeau, like, but they didn't, and it was like heavily teased that the two of them were in a lesbian relationship. I was like,
where they
even gave her the stereotypical like lesbian haircut.
Right.
I'm just like, so is it? But then they like tease her and Rhodey may have had, because I mean that is the thing in the comics that her and Rhodey were together. They only just recently broke up, because like it's a whole arc in the comics where, because Carol ended up going to the future. She saw that her and Rhodey weren't together anymore. He ended up having a daughter with somebody else. They haven't revealed who the mother was, and so because of that, she came back to the past and they broke up, because she was like, I went to the future. We're not together anymore. You have a daughter, and I want you. I met that daughter, and I love her, and I want her to be. I want her to be alive. So we can't be together. And it was a whole thing. So
weird.
But like, yeah, MCU was different. She's told her and Maria Rambeau are totally scissoring each other. Like I don't care what I don't care what anybody says. It's canon. Just like Poe and Finn, it's canon in my mind.
I love it.
Head cannons are the best cannons.
Yeah.
The fans know these characters well enough to be able to do that. So
yeah.
I have a lot of headcanons. Like
I'm happy with those storylines.
Yeah, Poe and Finn, Maria and Carol. I don't know if you guys watch Merlin, but Merlin and Arthur, they're together in my mind. Teen Wolf, Styles and Derek.
Oh,
they're 69 in each other during the full moon when Derek's about to change to a what? Like I have a lot of headcanons.
Which one? So I tried watching some of Teen Wolf. I didn't get real into it, but I know who Dylan O'Brien's character was.
Yeah, Dylan O'Brien.
Who was the other one? Derek?
Derek is the one that's currently playing Superman and Superman and Lois. Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I definitely see that for sure. Yeah, there's some chemistry there for sure.
Definitely.
Yep.
And the thing about this is like, and the thing that irks me is when people hear me say that, is like, they'll be like, their first response is like, why does everything have to be gay, bro? Like, why can't just two men just be friends and it not turn into like a gay thing? And it's like, but it never is gay. Like, that's why people ship, because it's like a self-narrative therapy. Because for the most part, like, name me one mainstream show or movie where they started off as a platonic friendship and then it morphed into a gay romance. It doesn't exist. So like when people say, why does it always have to be gay? It never is. Never is. It's always like, they always say, oh, these people have a very close, super intimate relationship, but it's not romantic. It's just their brother. Like that's always the case in all buddy cop movies. They always push them to the point where it's they're damn near lovers. They're like willing to put their lives on the line. Like you're part of my soul and all, but it's not. But we can't be gay. Can't be gay. And it's like, it's annoying. Sometimes it is gay. Sometimes they're sucking each other's dicks. Like I don't care. Like. At some point it needs to happen.
There's a movie. They're working on a movie right now. Maybe they'll switch it up.
What you who's working on a movie?
Teen Wolf. They're filming a movie.
Oh yeah. I'm not interested. I fell off on the last couple of, like, especially after like Dylan O'Brien and like Derek Hoechlin, like they kind of like, and they've been teasing from the beginning that Styles was potentially bisexual, even though the showrunner, who's a gay man, kept saying like, oh, we dropped hints about Styles being bi and yada yada yada. They even like teased the whole #steric. That's what the fandom calls them. They teased that to win an MTV Movie Award, but then they never actually followed through with it, because the steric fandom is huge. They teased it to win an award, but then like it went nowhere. Same thing that happened with Supernatural, which pisses me off. Like,
ooh, Please do tell. My girlfriend is going to listen to this, and she is in love with Jensen Ackles, and I constantly talk shit about him only because she's in love with him. I am actually a huge fan. But please do tell what are you talking about?
But yeah, the Supernatural fandom, like from the beginning, they've been teasing that Dean, we call him a disaster bisexual. And like people have been shipping the relationship between Dean and Castiel. He's an angel. And there's so many moments where like it would make so much sense for the storyline. And even the actor who plays Castiel, Misha Collins, he was like, yeah, I can see why people ship it. And 15 seasons of the show, they never went that route. They will have them be close, and like to the point that Castiel rebelled against heaven just for Dean. There's moments that he would answer Dean, but not Sam, who's the brother. It was just like, yeah, Dean just, I don't know, something about Dean that he just has an effect on me. And it's just
oh my God.
There's like so many moments of that. Castiel giving up his wings for Dean, not both the brothers, for Dean. And it's like, straight people don't do that for their friend. Like, but then you get to the very end of the show, the very last episode, that's when they finally came out and said Castiel came out and said he's actually in love with Dean. But then they went to the kill your gays trope. Castiel confessed his love for Dean, and then he died. That's a whole another thing, a rant that I can go on. That's trash. But then what's even more trash is like Dean never said, like he didn't even react to his friend, his best friend, even if they're going to go the route of unrequited love, that's still somebody that he like risked his life for, somebody that he considers another brother, a family member, whatever. Castiel died and he just kind of like had no reaction. And then you get to the last episode, they don't even bring up that Castiel died. It's just like it never happened. And it's like, oh, so we waited 15 seasons for you to say on Castiel's part that he's actually in love with Dean, but then you don't conclude the storyline or any, like that's fucking, again, subtext instead of text. Like that's fucking trash. I hated that.
I'll have to finish it. So I started watching it because my girlfriend is such a big fan, and I'm like, all right, like I'll give it a shot. I tried it when I was younger, didn't really take to it. I'll give it a go again. I'm literally on the last season, and I was like, I need a break from this. Like, I just can't.
I mean, 15 seasons.
Dude, that, and they literally, nobody stays dead. Nobody stays dead. This is a season finale of every season is one of the brothers or Cass dies. And like the next season and like the first like episode or two, they come back. And I was just like, fucking, I can't take this. So, but that's like
comic. I was literally just about to say that's like comic books though. Who stays dead in comic books?
I know. Yeah.
Unless you're like Gwen Stacy or Uncle Ben.
I think it's different when you I think it's different when you binge something, because by the time I like binged it, all 15 seasons were out. So other people would have to wait like a year to see like what happened next. And I was like binge watching it. So it was like, oh fuck, he died. Oh, he's back. You know, like, oh fuck, they died. Oh, they're back. You know, so
it's just like a 30-minute break before they come back for other people in a fucking year.
Yeah. I think that was my problem with it, but I'll finish it. I'm curious to see. I did not see that part that you're talking about. It sounds like it's at the end.
It's the second to the last. It's the penultimate episode.
I'm literally on the last season, like halfway through the last season. I'll finish it
right before the last episode.
Okay. All right. I'll finish it. You just made her very happy. So
I will say though, for a show that went 15 seasons, obviously there were some seasons that were way better than the others, but I think overall, like Supernatural did stay consistently interesting and good each season. Like I said, there were some seasons that weren't as good as the others, but it was still, even their worst season wasn't terrible.
I think I enjoyed it more.
Unlike something like Arrow or The Flash or Legends. Like, yeah.
I just enjoyed Supernatural so much more when it was about monsters and vampires and werewolves. Once they brought in like the demons and angels and stuff like that, it just like steered so far away from like where the show started, and that's where I started to fall off from it.
Like the
it was always about demons though in the beginning, because like their father,
but then they just made it all about that. After once they introduced those, you didn't get the vampires you didn't get the
other creatures. Not really. They came up sometimes, but it was mostly it was mostly about the angels and the and the demons. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can see. I mean, that's kind of what happened with Buffy though. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but then eventually like it stopped. Like vampires were just an afterthought at a certain like.
Yeah. It
She
was
wanted-
good. I
it was
watched
like
Buffy.
if you came across a vampire, it was like, oh, you're still here, like.
Yeah. Did you watch the spinoff Angel at all or no?
Oh yeah, I watched all 144 episodes of
Yeah,
Buffy.
4 seasons of Angel.
And
yeah.
well, 5 seasons of Angel.
Was it 5 seasons? I thought it was only
Yeah.
4. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it was 5. It was 5. Yeah.
Those are good. I grew up watching. I was
Yeah,
maybe
I
in
have-
like middle school when those.
I have all 5 seasons of Angel on DVD and all 7 seasons of Buffy on DVD.
Nice.
Isn't there talks of bringing Buffy back, not quite as a true reboot, but just as like a soft reboot where like she's still
There-
gonna be a part of it, but she's not gonna be like the main.
Yeah, I mean, last I've heard, I don't know now about, especially after the whole Joss Whedon debacle with Ray Fisher.
Oh yeah.
There were talks about doing a spin-off, like 20 years later, and following a new Slayer. And not so much Buffy, but there were talks maybe like Willow might show up or whatever.
I think I would rather see a reboot of the movie from the 80s, whereas like no, you didn't like
No.
the movie? I loved the movie. It was
as
so
a kid-
funny.
As a kid, because that was my first introduction to Buffy. When I saw it in 1992, I was like, "This is great." But then I went back and watched it. I was like, especially compared to the show, I was
But
like,
it's made
yeah.
as a comedy. That's why it's I don't know.
But
whatever.
it wasn't supposed to be. That Joss Whedon came out and talked about how what they did with the movie wasn't his original intent. The show was more in line with his original intention.
Yeah. All right, fine.
But Evil Dead wasn't supposed to be a comedy either.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Yeah, I would love to see a movie of it, and maybe they can make it serious. But I would love. I'm just a big fan of like when they rebooted Fright Night and they made it kind of like a comedy, but like super gory. I loved that. I thought it was funny. I would love to see Buffy remade it into a movie rather than a TV series and make it super funny. And I think that'd be cool.
I think it works better as a TV series because there's just so much and so many characters and so much lore and so many themes that you can't get through in a movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I want for young. Right, I want them to have both, but I kind of want Young Avengers to start off as a show, then branch off into a movie. Kind of like what they're doing with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Start off as a show, and then you get your Captain America 4.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have more than 6 episodes. I don't understand what Disney's and Marvel's obsession with 6 episodes, because it's proven time and time again with all these phase 1 or these phase 4 shows, 6 episodes is not enough. And I end up being disappointed about all these shows by the end, because it's like they keep introducing stuff. Even Obi-Wan, it's like, it's not, you're introducing Reva, you're introducing this random Inquisitor, not the Inquisitor, but the girl Tala, I think her name is, that ended up dying. Introducing all these characters and moments that like you don't have time to flesh it out.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do shorter episodes or shorter seasons, make the episodes longer.
Yeah, like look at what Stranger Things is doing. 7 episodes, and they're all damn near like 2 hours.
That is literally like my next question. Oh no, it's not. Damn it. I wish it was.
You can skip to it. I already brought it up. So like,
so did you finish? Are you caught up on Stranger Things?
Yeah, I'm all caught up. I'm waiting for. I'm ready for.
Oh God, where did we have it?
I don't think we actually had something specifically about Stranger
Things. No, I had Umbrella Academy is what I had. Not.
I haven't started Umbrella Academy yet.
Oh shit! All right.
Well, I haven't started the new season yet, but I have seen it.
Okay. Well,
still probably got to skip that question.
No, well then
I don't want to spoil anything.
Ad-lib something about Stranger Things.
God, Stranger Things. I mean, shit.
Hashtag Will needs to come out as gay. Like, I'll be upset. I'll be upset if it doesn't happen.
Totally. That's perfect. Yeah.
Because like they've been teasing it since like season 2. There was a moment where Will and Mike got into a fight, and Mike was like, "It's not my fault you don't like girls."
Yeah.
So it's like,
and then in this season, like, well, obviously he got very upset with Will, but there's the whole scene where the girl kind of like touches his foot, and he's like, "Nah."
Or the painting that he's making.
Yeah.
What is
he painting?
What is he painting? Like, I think it's a moment between him and Will, like from their childhood or something like that. And it's like, He's
Or-
totally gay. And the thing that annoys me about it is the actors are coming out like, oh, it's 2022. We don't label sexuality anymore. I'm like, first of all, the show takes place in the 90s. I mean, the 80s. But then also on top of that, like y'all have absolutely no fucking problem labeling Robin as a lesbian. So why is it that you have a problem? Why is it that you have a problem when it comes to Will? Like, is it because he's supposed to be a kid and kids can't be gay? Is that what that is? Is that why you don't want to talk about it? Because like,
I think they're gonna go there.
Hello?
I think they're gonna go there.
once upon a time I was a kid and I was gay, like, and I'm still gay. Like,
I think they'll go there. I think they'll hopefully respectfully do it. But I think they're gonna go there for sure.
And even, I mean, back to that painting. I mean, what if it's not even like a moment from their childhood, but what if it's when he was trapped in the Upside Down, like the thing that got him through it was like his thoughts on Mike, or I guess it could go back to like his, like,
that would make
like a
that
sentimental
would make sense
moment
too.
of them as being young, but like, because he like doesn't want to show it, but I feel like it's going to be a huge thing, at least for his character, because I don't think it's going to change anything between the dynamic between him and Mike. But I mean, they could still do it in a very respectful way.
Yeah, volume one, they didn't really do much. Mike, Will, Jonathan, like.
Well,
I was like,
Will really wasn't in it for most of it, because I mean that was the driving plot point, was they were trying to get him back.
Is missing, yeah.
Well, no, I meant this recent volume season 4.
Volume. I'm
God,
sorry,
yeah,
I missed.
sorry.
I completely, yeah.
I thought you were talking about the
misunderstood
first
you.
season.
No. I was saying volume 4. They didn't really have Mike, Will, and Jonathan. Like they weren't really in it that much.
Not really.
Like their story. So I'm assuming they're gonna have a bigger role in volume 2, because I was like, their story was the one I didn't really give a crap about, and I'm like, I feel like Will should have gotten, because I'm like, yeah, he was in the Upside Down, so like he should have more.
Well, so I guess to replace my question then, do you have a favorite character? And part 2 of that question is, the Duffer Brothers have confirmed that 5 people, including main characters, are going to die. Who do you think those characters?
Oh, they said 5?
Including main characters. That means that like sub characters are going to die.
I mean, we already saw that cheerleader chick.
Yeah. So who do you? No, in Act 2, like in the second part.
In the next.
So Eddie's gonna die. He's new, so we don't really. I mean, we care a little bit, but we don't care.
I love Eddie, but
everyone loves it. He's like a fan favorite this season.
I like Eddie too, but I'm saying, but he's new, so people like and people like him, so I guess it will work better if he dies.
Also, it completes his character arc.
Yeah,
because in the trailer for volume 2, like, you know, he's
I didn't watch the trailer.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. No trailers.
Well, I think
you've watched volume 1, so you're
I watched all of volume 1. Yeah.
But so he has the conversation with Steve where he's like, apparently, like, anytime there's trouble, I just run and hide. So like it's kind of hinting or foreshadowing that for his character arc to overcome like the fact that now he's seen himself almost like as a coward, that when trouble comes he runs, to like complete that, for him to be a hero, that he's not going to do that. And my thought is that that's going to lead to his death.
That would make sense. And I also think for the same reason, I think Nancy's going to die sacrificing herself to save Steve.
Ooh, see, I think Steve is going to die. I think it would complete his character arc because he consistently calls himself the babysitter, and he's like, why am I always the one that has to do this? And, you know, like fighting the bullies and diving in the water. Like he's always the one putting himself on like the front line. And I think Steve is going to be the one that eats it.
Even in season 1, when he's kind of a dick, like still like
at the end, he stays and fights.
He still stays. Yeah, exactly. He stays and fights and is a protector.
So, I mean, it could be Nancy. It could be both, because except 5 people, it might be Nancy and Steve.
Yeah. Well, I think 11 eventually will have to go, but it won't be this season.
Nah,
they said that
11's not. 11's not going to die.
Season 5 is supposed to complete everything.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that.
Well, so there's a little bit of a foreshadow, and I guess we won't know until but when they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, Dustin rolls 11, like it lands on 11 against Vecna, and they lose. So I think it maybe, I mean, or they're just being jerks about it and they're like, she's
Yeah,
gonna
but-
lose, and then
Or
I
they're
mean,
just
maybe,
foreshadowing.
maybe that's how it ends. Like it ends with them losing, and then we jump to season 5, and then
right,
she fights
Yeah.
again. But there's no show without 11, so like
yeah,
she's not gonna die. If she dies,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be till like season 5. But
right, yeah,
I have no fear that they're gonna kill Millie Bobby Brown this season.
like the showrunner for that show, yeah.
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 Maybe Jonathan, because what has he done? What has he done so far?
He could go.
Honestly, I'm very disappointed in Jonathan this season.
He's been kind of comedic
Well,
as like
yeah,
a stoner and stuff, but
like he was always kind of like a voice of reason, but still like a strong like protector in the past couple seasons, like willing to do
Yeah.
what it takes to like get his brother back and fight evil. And then now he's just kind of like, I'm useless. I'm just gonna go to community college and smoke weed and it'll be funny, man. And it's like, okay, either they gave up on the character or they're trying to build something for him. And I
don't know. Honestly, I feel like they don't know what to do, because and this is something Millie Bobby Brown said, but she was like, yeah, there are too many characters. Like some people need to die. And I completely agree with that. Like, especially when I look at the season, like I mentioned before, the storyline with Will, Mike, Jonathan, and the stoner, like I didn't care about that. Any of
yeah, the weird dude with the long hair, the stoner guy. Yeah, he was he was like the comic relief for the season, but he really doesn't do anything.
like the most
Everything that I've
interesting
seen in
story
is he's typecast as a stoner.
No.
Yeah,
What's the most interesting?
The most interesting story for this season was the Vecna stuff with Dustin, Max, Lucas, except even the 11 stuff was kind of interesting, but even that would not really, like her trying to get her powers back. Like I was interested, but I was like, go get back to Vecna. I don't care about.
The only time that her story arc in this season I thought that really became like captivating was in the last episode of Volume 1.
When we got the reveal of who Vecna,
when it connected it. Yeah, it was just like, oh, cool. Like, oh, Papa is still alive.
Which there's a theory going on the internet. I'm like, that would actually make sense of why 11 is so strong, because one is her father.
So do you have a favorite character or no?
My favorite character is
Vecna.
11.
11? Oh, okay.
That's super cool.
I'm a Steve the Hare Harrington fan. That's my favorite character.
Oh, I definitely simp for Steve.
Maybe the Demogorgons.
Love it. That's awesome.
So yeah, I like 11.
Yeah, she's dope. They should do something with the pancakes or sorry, waffles. They got
Nah, when she clocked that bitch with the skate, I was like, yes. I hated her. I hated her. I hated her.
She hit her with the front part of the skate too. It was
Oof. She fell back. You saw a little bit of blood, and then it just everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's so brutal." I was like, "That's a head injury."
When I watch
fast at first until it's like, "Oh, I can leave," and then
when I watch either like movies or TV with Nicole or whatever, there's always that character that you just hate, and I'm always like, "Kill her, or kill him."
Same thing.
So when she grabbed the skate, I'm like, "Kill her!" Bam! That's like, yes. It's so funny.
I'm like what Beauty and the Beast, kill the witch or kill the beast. Like obviously when it comes to real life, I'm not about murder.
No, of course not.
Like, yeah, when it comes to characters, a video, like die. Like I want you to die. I want you to, especially Joffrey. Like I was disappointed by the death. I was disappointed by the death of Joffrey because I felt like it was too easy. I wanted him to die and I wanted him to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing it was the same thing with that girl. I wanted her to suffer with how she treated 11.
Oh yeah.
At least Joffrey was like throwing up on himself and just like
clawing at his throat and like
it wasn't as satisfying as it could have been. I will give you that because I wanted that dude to die.
I really wanted Sansa to be the one to kill him, but
I wanted it, and then when they're like they blamed her, but it was like it wasn't actually her. So like meh. But
yeah, definitely should have been Sansa.
would have been so much better.
It would have. But I mean, talk about things that could have been better. Like all of season 8 could have been better. But when
Oh my God.
let's not get into that because I'm gonna get mad again. I'm gonna get mad. I'm still not over it. These are wounds.
Have you rewatched it?
I can't.
I will.
And it's funny.
easier the second time
And it's funny
around.
because as huge as Game of Thrones was, it's sad that you don't really hear about it anymore because of how disappointing season 8 was.
Right. So 2 points. One is a friend of ours who has been on the podcast a couple times. His name is Jerry Ma. He told us about how he has rewatched it and it made it so much. It was like it wasn't better rewatching it a second time, but it was easier to digest because those
Less
disappointments.
disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah, you already know are coming, and it made it almost like easier to like. I don't know, like. I liked it the second time around more than I liked it the first time around. And the other point I wanted to make is they are doing a sequel series with Jon Snow as Kit Harington as Jon Snow. So
I don't care. I'm like, aren't you the Black Knight in Marvel? Stay over there. Like,
yeah,
we're done with Game of Thrones. Like, even the prequel series, House of Dragon, like, I don't care. Like, the show marred itself for me based on that final season. Like, all the talk about, because the show said since the beginning, all this Game of Thrones stuff does not matter. It is about the fight, the battle on the wall, the White Walkers. But then it turned out the Game of Thrones stuff was more important. Like, the White Walker shit was over in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It was like, then what were we doing? What were we doing?
I would blame that on George. What is it? George R.R. Martin or whatever.
George R.R. Martin.
By
Yeah,
the time that the
that's
show finished, he'd only written the first 5 books,
Yeah.
which only coincided.
He still hasn't finished. He still hasn't finished.
He's not going to at this point in time.
No, he's not.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not going to.
Jackass.
Like, he keeps doing others. Like, I saw he was behind and writing Elden Ring, and I'm just like, write fucking Game of Thrones. What are you doing?
Finish.
But
there's
at
7 books.
At the same time,
Finish
though,
it.
it's like, because the books have ended and because of the negative reaction that they've got, because I'm pretty sure the way it ended was probably the way he's gonna, not literally the way it ended, but the general conclusion of Bran becoming the king and Daenerys going crazy. I'm sure that was the way he wanted it to go, but because he was doing it in book form, it was going to be way more fleshed out as opposed to the rush that happened in the show.
What was the most frustrating thing for you with Game of Thrones? We're just gonna talk for a little bit because for me, they built up this fight between Jon Snow and Grey Worm the entire season. And literally when it came time to like happen, Jon Snow just like walked away. And I was like, you motherfuckers, like, dude, make them fight. They're like the 2 best fighters in the show. That would have been the best fight ever. And they just didn't do anything with it. It made me so mad.
I don't even think so much about the Jon and Grey Worm. I think more so about they built it up for Jon, you know, the prince who was promised, yada, yada, yada. And then,
they just exile him.
Not even just that, but like, Arya came out of nowhere and took out the Night King, and it's like, that's fine if you want to do that, but like, justify it, because they had her go through this whole training montage of the many faces, the faceless man, and yada yada. She only used that power one time to take out
Wilder Frey.
Walder Frey and his family.
Yeah.
But like, I thought it would have made sense to like, maybe if she took the face of the man, I can't think of the man's name, that kept coming back to life and then he finally died. Like, maybe take his face, pretend to be a White Walker. Because how did she get through all the White Walkers? Like, not once did she ever, like, it would make sense if they gave her that power to use it to take out the Night King. But
they just show her like jumping.
Yeah, they just show her jumping at him.
You don't know how she got to that.
Yeah, but how did she get to that point?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And that's the thing that they did a lot in the last, because a lot of times in Game of Thrones, it would take like episodes to get from, like, look how long it took for them to get from like King's Landing to the north. Then there were moments like, how the fuck did Daenerys fly all the way from Storm, whatever the fuck the name, the place that she was at. She got from there all the way to the north in like not even a whole episode.
Yeah.
And it was like, what is
same with Arya when she went from what's the name of the place where the no face people?
Bravos.
Yeah, she went from there to where you were talking about, where she killed that family like in minutes.
And
I
that's
was like,
not something
"How'd you
that,
get that?"
yeah, and that's not something that Game of Thrones was known for doing, or even giving people plot armor. Like when Jaime fell in, like he was escaping Drogon and he jumped into the water to save himself, wearing not tons, obviously, but like hundreds of pounds of fucking gold armor. How the fuck did you swim? And he swam to the other side of the. How did you do that and not drown? Like he didn't take the armor pieces
Also
off.
with only one hand.
Yeah,
The other hand
you
was
should have
made
drowned.
of
Like
metal.
you should have drowned. And not only just that, but he was carrying what's his face?
Oh yeah, dude, your chemistry, right? Like you might be one of my favorite interviews. This is awesome.
Thank you.
This is
most
very much
people,
like
most people just kind of
you're not just saying that because it's Pride Month, are you?
no. Most people just kind of like answer our questions and then we move on. You know, like the fact that I mean we're nowhere
gone
near.
through
We're somehow on Game of Thrones right now, and that was never a part of. Like I love this. This is so much fun. This is what we want. Yeah.
Natural.
Well, I tell you, words of affirmation is like my number one love language. So keep the compliments going. Like
absolutely, yeah.
I live off of it. It's
fantastic.
It's like Dragon Ball Z. Lend me the spirit bomb. You're giving me spirit bomb energy right now.
Oh, it's so much fun. I don't even know where we are. I have like this pulled up on here, and I don't even know.
We decided to take question 3.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today.
Without actually having seen the Umbrella Academy season 3, it's still been kind of like in the nerd realm that obviously like Elliot Page's character, they decided to transition Vanya in the show to match the fact that she transitioned since season 2 ended and season 3 is now out.
Can't ask his opinion. He hasn't seen it yet. Can't like ask his.
Well, it has nothing to do with the show, but the fact that they did that. Do you think that like more shows should do that for characters to be rewritten to fit like actors' identities, especially if that transition, not necessarily like the transgender transition, but like if a character comes out as, you know, being on like part of the LGBTQ IA plus, like should the characters be rewritten to fit the actors? Or do you think it's kind of case by case?
I would say it's probably a little bit of a case by case basis in a sense, because yes, when Elliot was first hired, Elliot was Ellen, and so Elliot was hired to be Vanya. But I think with this instant, I think because even then, I don't think Elliot, or I don't know, because I'm not in his mind, but like I don't even know if they knew they were trans back then. So I think part of it is like it might be a little bit of a trauma to make him still be Vanya when it's like I wanted to get out of that, like, but you're already in the role. So it's like in some ways you have to, like, we don't want to just traumatize the actor, or you can't just, I mean, you can fire him, but like I guess it wouldn't really make sense. So I think for that it might be a little bit of a case by case basis. So maybe it works for that. But like, say, I don't know, like for example, Neil Patrick Harris, before he came out as gay, he was playing straight on How I Met Your Mother, and he eventually came out. They didn't change the character of Barney, and it makes sense for that. Like Barney was still straight in How I Met Your Mother.
I didn't know that he came out during How I Met Your Mother. I thought he was already out.
That, but...
No, I think he came out after that because the reason I remember reading, and I mean, correct, I could be wrong, but I think he came out while he was on the show, and I think I remember reading that the only reason he came out is because somebody was blackmailing him.
Oh,
And which I can relate, kinda, sorta. Nobody blackmailed me, but like the reason I came out is because somebody outed me. Like that's my coming out story. Like, yeah, I mean, I could go into it if you want, but like, yeah, somebody outed me, and then I was just like, all right, here we go.
Completely up to you if you want to share it. If
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how
it's
to
not like well, I was gonna say it's not like it's triggering or anything. Like I just didn't know if that was the direction you wanted to go on the show. But yeah, I was I was in college. I was 19, and it was a friend of mine who we went to high school together, and then we went to college together, so we were pretty close. She actually went to the same college because I was going there, and she ended up dating somebody that we met at school. And she knew he was bisexual while they were dating. And for whatever reason, she thought that he was cheating on her with another man. And not only did she think that, she thought I knew about it. And I was telling her, like, look, as far as I know, he's not cheating on you. And if he is, I know absolutely nothing about it. But she didn't believe me. And she's like, you're supposed to be my best friend, yada, yada, yada. How dare you? You didn't tell me these things. Like she just didn't believe me. So she went and told our circle of friends in college that I was gay and that I had a crush on one of our friends in that circle. So it made, who was straight. So it made our relationship pretty awkward because I didn't tell him I had a crush because I knew it's not going to be reciprocated. So like, what's the point? So, but that made our relationship pretty awkward. But on the flip side though, it was everybody in that circle. It was their lack of reaction that made me go, oh, so maybe it's not a big deal. Okay,
so they were
gay.
cool about it.
Yeah, so they were just like, they didn't even react. They were just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And well, so that made me go, oh, okay.
Well, good for them.
And years later, Black Gay Comic got a fucking rainbow flag behind me. So
that's what's up, though. That's also a really good group of friends.
Yeah.
Where they're like, so, like,
yeah,
still our friend, still who we love and know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the person, she's trash. You know, I don't thank her for that. But at the end of the day, like that experience did help. That was like my stepping stone to becoming comfortable. Because not like I hid but if you were, or I don't want to say I hid. I mean, I did. It wasn't like I was like like sleeping with girls and all the other stuff. I could say I'm a hashtag gold star gay. Like I've never had sex with a woman or anything like that. But like, if you still would have asked me, like, are you gay? I'll be like, no.
Mm. Man, that's gonna be hard.
But now I'm like, fuck yeah. Like,
yeah. Well, good for you and good for your friends that like stood by you. That's awesome.
So yeah. So that was my coming out or not coming out, being outed story.
Well, you're out now and it's fantastic. So
a positive thing.
Yeah.
It may not have felt that way.
And fuck that bitch that did that, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Oh, let's see. I don't even know where we are on here.
Dick, but like,
I know. I can see it in your face. You're like, I don't even know where to go from here.
I just don't know where we are on here.
Well, I just don't know how to like talk shit about the person that like tried to hurt you. Cause like,
I mean, you can. I did. I fuck her. I was,
yeah. Go fuck herself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Oh, okay. We're gonna just kind of get back to script a little bit, but so what are your opinions on Miles Morales taking on Thor, and what do you think about Mjolnir being graffitied? Are you pro or against?
Oh, I made a video.
I've seen your TikTok about
it. I made a video about
this. That's why we wanted to ask about it.
I want you to dive deeper.
And I think I have it's in my room, but it's fucking trash. It's like the stereotypes on top of stereotypes. And what doesn't make sense to me is the writer is Mexican, which means he's Hispanic, which means he's Latino, which means he's writing for a character that is Latino. So why not dive more into Miles's Hispanic roots,
right,
as opposed to just making him a black stereotype?
Yeah.
Like why couldn't you do a little bit of both? Like, why couldn't you do a little bit of both? Like, why is Odin wearing fucking Timbs and it's supposed to be Asgard? How does that doesn't make any sense to me. And then you get putting graffiti on Mjolnir, but not really saying that Miles is an artist. Maybe he's like, at least if you said he's like a painter or some shit, then okay, maybe putting graffiti on Mjolnir would make sense. Maybe, I guess. But even still, it's Asgard. That's not really, I don't know. It's just, it just didn't make sense. And even him saying by Odin's fade, like as if he just heard the word fade, but doesn't know what the fucking, because Odin is bald. He doesn't have a fade. Like, it's just,
I didn't know that.
Like a lot of it is just like, he just took black phrases that he heard or, you know, watched like one black movie and said, you know what, I'm gonna put this in my comic. And it's like, but why though? But why though? But why? And that's why representation matters in terms, even not just in front of the page or the front of the camera, but behind, because like, you know, you had this, you know, Mexican man, but he's not Afro-Latino. Then not only just that, but then you got the artist, the editor, because editors had to approve this shit.
Right.
And more than likely they were all white, because most of Marvel's editors are all white. So like you had white editors approve, like, oh yeah, by Odin's fade, that's good. Let's print it. Throw it the print. And it's like, no. It's I don't know if you saw Jordan Peele Get Out, but the woman that's like, no.
Oh yeah.
It's like that. That's how I felt. I'm like, no.
Love that.
Yeah, it's trash.
All right.
So to kind of piggyback off of that, like in your opinion, I mean, you kind of already touched on it just throughout like our conversations, but like what changes and progress is needed to see better representation in like comics, movies, media, and what are you seeing that's good?
Honestly, I want them, especially in the realm of comics, I want them to reboot the whole shit and start all over again. Like, and they had a perfect opportunity to do that with Marvel's Secret Wars.
And it's been done, you know, several times.
I mean, not at least in Marvel, not really. They did like soft reboot. DC, they do it all like New 52, but even New 52 wasn't really a reboot because all the Batman lore stayed the same. All the Green Lantern lore stayed the same. It's just other characters that kind of got a reboot, but then even then, not really, because some of the old stuff still stuck, but then it didn't make sense because if they're trying to say they only existed for 5 years, it wouldn't make sense for like Batman to have 5 Robins and a Batgirl and a spoiler and like, so it's like they did it, but they didn't do it. But then in Marvel, they never really rebooted. Like all the stuff that existed before Secret Wars is still prominent today. And I always said
the
before,
ultimate timelines versus, you know,
well, yeah, Ultimates, the Ultimates, but even then it wasn't really taken because the main timeline still existed. I'm talking about like start from scratch.
I scrap it and just start from the.
Yeah, I don't mean like an alternate universe. I mean like everything. Because the reason I say that is because, and this is something I said before, because most of these characters, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Superman, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Hulk, etc., the majority of these characters were created when Jim Crow was still the law of the land, when Black people were still being segregated, when women didn't have rights in this country, when you had women couldn't even get a credit card in their own name until like 1975. Gay people were still getting locked up in prison for having sex in the privacy of their own home with like Lawrence v. Texas, which wasn't until 2003, which is not that long ago. So like if comics were created today, they wouldn't be as straight and white as they are now. And part of the problem that you have with comics, and one thing I like about the MCU versus comics is like they actually get to evolve and stay that way. Like Chris Evans is not coming back as Captain America. If he does, maybe it'll be like one time as a one-off, maybe like a prequel of like people talking about him. They're doing like a Disney Plus show of him returning the Infinity Stones. But right now, it's Sam Wilson. And eventually, Anthony Mackie's going to get either too old or he's not going to want to do it anymore. And so they're going to pass the mantle to somebody else, or they're going to maybe reboot.
Well, they're already building him up. But he was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Oh
Well,
gosh,
to be
what's his,
the new Falcon that
Yeah, he's
plays,
he's
Yeah.
supposed to be the new Falcon, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
eventually he's going to be another Captain America.
yeah.
Eventually, Tom Holland's not going to want to do Spider-Man or going to get too old to be Spider-Man. It's going to go to Miles. So like Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. It's now going to be Riri Williams. She's going to be the new Iron Man, Iron Heart. So like that's the thing with comics is like it's not really allowed to evolve. Like Peter Parker is always going to be Spider-Man. It's never even Miles Morales. Like even when you look at his comics, it's Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's not just Spider-Man. Iron Man is always going to be Tony Stark.
I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. You
So,
want
like-
them to scrap with a completely new person as those characters, not as Iron Man, like, but like you want like it to be like a no-name person being.
Well, not even just that, but
Spider-Man.
like let it evolve because, like I said, most of these characters were created when Jim Crow was the law of the land. So because of that, like even when they made Sam Wilson Captain America in the comics, it went right back to the status quo. When Ben Reilly takes over as Spider-Man, it goes right back to the status quo with Peter Parker. When Miles temporarily it goes right back to the status quo. Like when Wolverine, when Laura Kinney becomes Wolverine temporarily, when Wolverine died, it goes right back. Like it goes right back to the status quo. Like so, it's like they don't really get to evolve. How Barry, even with Wally West being the Flash, what happened? Now it's back to Barry Allen again. So it's like they don't really like I mentioned, comics don't get to evolve, and then also because of that, that's why you get like a little bit of backlash where they try to evolve it in a sense where, like, for example, they have Bobby Drake come out as gay. And then you have people like, well, it wasn't gay. He wasn't gay before. And it's like, because we're not really allowed, because people always say, well, why don't you just create new characters? Because for the most part, they're not really allowed to thrive for the most part. Because always, when you do create new characters, people whine. Like when you make Jane Foster Thor, people whine. It's like, oh, I want Thor Odin's son back. Ugh. So it's like, yeah, like that. So it's just like, let it evolve more. Because not only has society changed, but audiences have changed. People that didn't have political power have political power now. People that weren't really making mainstream content are making mainstream content now. People that weren't really reading comics back then are now reading comics now. So it's like we want to see more characters like how the world is. Like, for example, I say for me, like if I wanted to cosplay as a Black gay superhero, who do I got?
hang on, I have a I wrote down some names. Not much. According to Titans on HBO Max, Tim Drake is a person of color, but they haven't explicitly. I get what you're saying. There's really nothing there.
Yeah.
I understand that me like trying to like go out there and say that came across wrong. I wasn't trying to prove you wrong. I wanted to like highlight that there's not characters like that.
Yeah.
Like
like I mean, there's
not there.
There's a Prodigy who's in X-Men. He's currently dating Wanda's son,
Wiccan.
Speed. No, not Wiccan, Speed.
Oh.
But even him, like he's recently bi. And so, not to say bi people aren't part of the LGBTQ community, but I'm specifically saying if I want to do cosplay as a Black gay superhero, who do I got?
Yeah, man, that's
really no one at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, and I definitely like that's an issue. Like that's
like even because I even and granted, obviously, and this is something I say all the time. Like a lot of times, as a Black gay comic geek, I always find myself having to choose between seeking Black representation and queer representation. Very rarely do I get the intersectionality of both. So like there's like I get Wiccan and Hulkling. There's the Ray in DC. There's I'm drawing a blank. Why am I drawing a blank? But there's a lot of white gay superheroes.
I mean, you have like Iceman and Loki who are also like
Iceman, Loki, North Star, I'm drawing a blank. I used to be, I could like run these names down, but
I
like
mean,
even them, but most of them are white gay superheroes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Aqualad, he's the only one I got. There we go. I'm like, I know there's at least one. Aqualad is the only, but even in Young Justice, they made him bi, but in the comics, he's gay. So I mean, Aqualad is the one. He's recently out, but I don't have hair, so I can't do the yellow.
Oh shoot. Well,
joke, but it would have sounded very insensitive. I was gonna be like, oh, there's a wig, but that's not the point.
yeah. Well, so obviously this is Pride Month. What are some highlights from this year's Pride Month? And is there anything that you think deserves recognition? And I know that it's kind of sketchy right now.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say
you-
highlights.
and you can go into-
highlights.
Yeah, this is how it was written when we originally like wrote this out, and I'm
And then
reading off my
since
screen.
then,
Yeah, so now it's way
it's
sketchier
gotten
and
worse.
it's rough. I have literally looked with my girlfriend at moving to like Lisbon. We like,
Oh, it's funny you say that because Portugal is my number one place that I would love to like.
dude,
like,
thank you. Yeah,
I looked it up and like because I was looking up like because you know the whole world is anti-black, so I was like, what would be the safest place for me being black and gay? And Portugal came up as like one of the top three. There's like a lot of black expats in Portugal.
yeah, and it says they're like like out of the entire world, they're known for being like the nicest people like in the world. That's what drew us to it as well. And like, and we're all Chad too, and my girlfriend and I we're all vegan. And their menu, like their food, they're known for having a fantastic like vegan menu. And it's like, dope.
The only downside to that is like me being a content creator. It's like there's not really any like I doubt there are like premieres or like anything.
But have
like
you
that.
seen how blue the water is there?
But also,
because like,
so
because
pretty.
I just recently
You.
went to the doc. I mean, I already saw Thor: Love and Thunder. I went last week in LA. I was like, I probably can't do that if I was in Portugal.
but in the EU, which Portugal is a part of, I mean, there's multiple countries. So I'm sure that they have some. Well, I guess the UK Brexit isn't really part of it anymore. So maybe
yeah,
not.
I mean, I guess I would try to have to maybe see what's going on because I mean, there's I don't know if you guys follow Theories by T over on TikTok, but he's a content creator. I mean, he lives in London, so I mean, he gets screeners too. So maybe I would just have to go, and maybe not Portugal. I would have to like commute back and forth to London or whatever as a content creator. I don't know.
That sounds so horrible. You have to go to London. Oh no.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Well,
yeah.
considering the fact that like all of Europe is like the East Coast to barely the Midwest. That
Yeah, like it's easy to travel around. Like the train goes everywhere. So
yeah.
So I mean, maybe, but then I would have to I'll have to figure it out. But I would love to, especially like not even just because of the state of America, but just in general, I would like to live overseas for like at least a year or two, just to experience, you know, a different type of life. And then on top of that, America's trash.
Yeah. All right. So let me reiterate my question a little bit then. So is there in this absolute ridiculous chaos
dumpster fire
political of a country, is there anything positive that you can say about what's happening right now? I mean, not politically, but like for you and like maybe like other people that are like standing up, and like, is there something positive that we can pull out of the fucking shitstorm that's happening right now?
Well, yeah, I would say the positive thing about like what's going on, not even necessarily now, but just the way society is now. Like even just for example, the fact that I could exist on a, you know, a platform and like not even just that, but be openly and proudly gay and black and be given opportunities to express myself. And it's not to say everything is peaches and rainbows, because I'll get homophobia, racism, all of that, but even still, like I'm able, you know, to be, and then other people like openly becoming more open and proud to express their queer identity, come out as non-binary, trans, lesbian, etc., demisexual, pansexual, all of, the alphabet mafia going strong. So I think that's the positive that we can take from it. Like, representation equals normalization. And the more representation we get, somebody like a Lil Nas X could not exist maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And
Right.
granted,
Yeah.
he's still getting backlash, but he still exists and he's still thriving.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have, like I said, just 5 years ago, that wouldn't have been the case. Like, he wouldn't have been able to sell anything.
Oh, yeah.
So that I would say is a positive. Just getting more, because like I said, more representation equals normalization. So let's get more of it.
Love it. Yeah.
Hashtag-
Also, fuck everyone.
No, hold on.
that is
Let him-
not
Oh,
nice.
no, I was good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I did
No,
not.
that's fine. I was gonna say hashtag fuck the straight agenda, but yeah.
Yeah.
Along those lines.
Yeah.
People that are like throwing out hate, like, fuck them. Like,
Yeah.
that's
We've
not the majority. That's not who we are as a nation.
Yeah.
They can go
Oh,
fuck themselves.
And we've
Like,
already
fun
said on this
disappearing.
podcast, like, if you're not cool with that, like, don't fucking listen to our podcast. Like,
Yeah.
we don't want you here. Yeah. So
Not a
And
huge podcast to begin with, but
that's the thing that annoys me when it comes to like people that try to be anti-gay. They always try to talk about, oh, what about the children? Or why do you have to push sex on children? And it's like, y'all think more about gay sex than even me as a gay person. It's like being gay, being queer, being trans, being bi is more than just about who you're scissoring or whose dick you're sucking or whatever. Like, it determines the spaces that you feel comfortable or not comfortable entering, the friends you feel comfortable, the people you feel comfortable making friends with, the policy decisions that you support. It could also be something as small as like the shows that you're interested in. Like, there's sometimes I will watch a show just because I see that they have a gay character on it. And so it's like, it determines more than just who you sleep with, but it's because I also see some people like, oh, because actually somebody said this on my comment section on TikTok. It was like, oh, you're one of the few gay content creators that I follow because you don't make it your whole personality. I'm like, it is my whole personality. Like, it's literally my content. Like, I talk about Black and queer representation. And then, like I said, it's my whole person. It determines what I talk about. It determines what I like. It determines who I talk to. It determines who I don't talk to. So it is my personality. So when I hear people say, oh, why do you have to, like, for example, the Disney show Luca, I was like, I don't know if you watched Luca, the picture.
I loved
Disney
it.
Plus.
Loved
I was like, they're totally queer. Like, they're totally gay.
The two kids,
And-
right? Yeah.
The two kids. And people were like, oh, why are you sexualizing kids? I didn't say anything about sex.
Yeah.
I said they're gay.
Yeah.
It's not about sex. It's about just the two of them, or like Alberto, the allegory of like his father wasn't around anymore. His father kicked him out. What reason would his father kick him out? Like, he's a sea monster and his father would be a sea monster. What? Other than maybe he's gay. Like, if the story isn't about them being like two gay kids, their first love or first crush or whatever, what's the story really about? Like, they go into an anti-sea monster town. That's an allegory for being gay. When they come out as sea monsters, there are two women, specifically two women, that reveal themselves, because representation equals normalization. So they reveal themselves to be sea monsters too. You see Luca and Alberto when they're leaving each other on the train. Alberto's chasing after him. It starts raining. They're both crying, and he becomes his true self, his sea monster self, and like, it's all gay allegory. Like, I made a whole video on YouTube of why Luca is gay, and fuck the director for, like, he's wrong. He doesn't know what his own story is. But
Dude, I that's amazing. I watched the movie. I loved the movie, and I never picked up on that. But while you're explaining it, I'm just like,
Alberto,
oh my God.
I would say Alberto's gay, Luca's bi, because he had a crush on that other girl too, and that's what made Alberto jealous. But it's still it's definitely a queer story.
It's fantastic. Holy cow. I can't believe I'd never picked up on that. It's crazy.
I mean, well, you're straight. There are things that straight people won't see. Like,
That's
why I make content. Yeah.
And that's why it's so fantastic to have you on the show. This is amazing. Like, you can point out these things that two dum-dums like us just
goes
don't pick
right
up
over
on.
our head.
I mean, it's
Like,
not even about being dumb, but it's not your experience. So like,
Right.
yeah.
Hi, man. I'm literally like gonna go upstairs after this is over and tell my girlfriend all of that, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my god."
So I'm like,
I
no,
noticed.
I'm like, watch my YouTube channel of all the examples of how I pointed out that why Luca's gay, and then go back and watch Luca, and then like hit me up and tell me.
Will do. And I will follow you on everything that I have, at least once we're off of here. So look out for me, because I'm gonna follow you.
All right.
So this is kind of changing direction a little bit. So it actually has little to do with the original interview, but so this coming weekend we
Has
have
zero to do with
it
the...
has zero to do.
That's that's fine.
I was like, what question are you on?
Hit me with it.
So we're going to be doing a live stream. Jake mentioned we're both vegan, but we're still going to do like the Hot Ones challenge. And I don't want us to answer the question here, but so we're going to do like vegan wings with the season 16 Hot Ones challenge, like hot sauces. But we want to answer questions as we're burning the shit out of our mouths. If you had a question to ask someone who's in the nerd culture, like us specifically, what would your question be to watch us try and burn the shit out of our mouths, suffer through some hot sauce, and try and answer a question about nerd culture or nerd realms, fan castings, fan theories?
Literally anything you want that you can think of, and then we'll answer it on our live stream.
Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I was
decided
like-
to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I gotta think about that. I can't. So it's a question that you guys will be answering, or you're asking somebody else?
If you
It
ask
would
us
be
now,
us
we would
answering.
answer it
Yeah.
on our live stream.
What's your biggest maybe hesitation or fear regarding being podcasters?
Oh, that's
Ooh.
a good question. I like that. Are you writing it down?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, fantastic. And then are you okay with us name dropping you
Yeah.
when we answer that question? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then kind of like final words before we wrap it up here. Why don't you tell us how do people find you? Where can our listeners, the not as many as we hope we have someday, but the ones that we do have,
it's all a work in progress. You grow,
Yeah.
If you're consistent, the people will come. That's one thing you learn. And then you gotta try not to pay attention to the algorithm, because I have over 100,000 followers on TikTok, and sometimes I'll post a video and like it gets less than 300 views, and I'm just like, am I trash? Like, do I suck all of a sudden? But it's like, no, the algorithm won't even show it to your followers, but you just got to keep on pushing, try not to pay too much. Like, obviously, you want as many people and eyes on you, because I know I do. I want to make this a full-time job. I'm tired of working on 9 to fucking 5. But like, yeah, so you just got to keep pushing and be consistent. But yeah, if you want to hear me talk about how Thor is actually bisexual, but they don't want to go with it because it's straight agenda, or anything of those examples, or whatever, like, hit me up, Black Gay Comic Geek. Again, you can find me on TikTok, YouTube. Those are where I do most of my videos. TikTok, I mostly do commentary on culture and nerd things, and YouTube is where I do actual like reviews, like Umbrella Academy. I'll eventually be reviewing that. Stranger Things, The Boys, etc. Paper Girls is about to come out at the end of the month, which I actually got a screener for, so I'm gonna watch that. But yeah, you can check me out there: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And so yeah, that's really all I got.
Hell yeah.
And to elaborate on those last words, what's something that you can say for people that might be part of like a disenfranchised group, whether it's the LGBTQIA plus or like a minority group that is also fond of the nerd culture? What sort of advice do you have for them to persevere and, not give up on their identity, because obviously this country kind of is trying to tell them to.
I would say, despite everything that's going on, and these are words that I take to heart, and also why I continue to push and be out there, is I want to be the person that I wish I had when I was a kid. Because to go off on a tangent really quick, mentioning like Buffy the Vampire Slayer being one of my favorite shows of all time, there was a website that I joined. It's like a D&D website, more or less, but it's like an online role-playing site where you create a character based in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer world. You don't create characters from Buffy, but like, for example, my character was based off of Willow, but he was a warlock, but it wasn't Willow because you're not allowed to create characters from the show. But I based that character off my personality profile and made him a warlock. But because, and this is something I always say about Buffy doesn't have any black friends. There's not really any black characters on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So even in a world of witches, vampires, and demons, and despite making this character based off of me, I made the conscious choice to make him white because I just couldn't see any black characters. In a world of vampires, it didn't make sense for me, a 16-year-old, to make him black. Because also I was looking at the site and I was like, hey, I'll be the only black person. I don't want to, so I'll make him white, whatever. I won't have to deal with it. And I don't really have a lot of regrets, but that's one of my biggest, like, especially creative regrets that I did. So like, that's one of the reasons why I keep pushing, because I want for people to see, and for somebody like me as a kid to see somebody out there doing and talking about the same shit that I love. And another quote that I'm probably going to butcher that I take with me to heart is something that Lena Waithe said when she was accepting an Essence Award. And she said, being gay is not a political act, but being openly and proudly gay is. And so you never know who's watching you. You never know who just being you, me openly talking about, hey, I like to suck dick. And even though it's like, it might be graphic and people might cringe or whatever. And people like, Michael, why do you like, calm the fuck down. Like, I don't have a filter. I don't care. But like, even still, like being unabashedly me, I've gotten so many messages from people just saying like, thank you for just being you. Like, you helped me become not even just being gay, just accepting my nerd identity, being unabashedly a nerd and loving the things that you love as much as you do and love talking about it, and the energy that you have to bring, like it makes me want to explore my nerddom and get back into comics and things. And then also just being like, I've gotten messages from somebody I used to listen to me on when I was on a podcast, like, yeah, Michael, like you being unabashedly you helped me realize that I was bi. And so it's like, you never know who's watching you, and you never know who you can affect by just living proudly and being your authentic self. And in my case, being my authentic Black gay self. So
I love that. That.
Those are my words of encouragement. Just be you and be authentically you, and fuck everybody else, because at the end of the day, you only got one life to live and nobody else can live your life. And so if people don't accept you, you can find people that will.
Fuck yeah.
I love that.
Love it.
Well,
you go. You go.
I was just gonna say thank you so much for being on the show, Michael. It was
that's what I was
awesome having you here. I love the fact that we got derailed for so much of what we.
That's what we want in our interviews, is to just get so caught up in just like talking bullshit, and like it's so fun.
I cannot stand. I've been on shows sometimes where like I'm not the host or anything like that, but I've been a guest, and I've been a guest with other people, and I'm not gonna say like what we were talking about, whatever, but like just in case somebody's like, oh, I know who he's talking about. But like we were reviewing a movie, and like the host would be like, hey, not to me, but they would be like, so what did you, to the other person, they'd be like, so what did you think about the Batman? They'd be like, oh, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Lame. Yeah.
What else you got? Like, what?
It's not a conversation.
Yeah. And I would just be like, and you know me, I like to talk to, like,
and we've had guests like that too, where we've, you know, like asked them questions like we've asked you, and instead of giving us, you know, 15 minutes of just banter between the three of us. There's like, oh yeah, it was like this. And we're just like, oh,
I mean, I also like to
yeah.
talk. I also like to talk a lot. So like,
That's great. No, we love that. This is what we want out of an interview. This
makes
seriously.
it makes it a conversation.
Yeah.
Not
You were a pleasure to have on the show. Thank you so much for coming on here. This is awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And hang tight once we stop recording here.
Yeah.
Because we want to talk to you a little bit more, just off the record. But thank you so much again, Micael. And we'll tag all of your social medias, links to what you want people to find you at, all of that in this week's show notes. All that.
When is the show airing?
Tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Normally
episodes come out on Wednesdays. There was some personal stuff that came up this past week.
My dog died.
Oh.
Normally we record on Sundays and then put the episode out on Thursdays. And yeah, it's been
interviews. It's usually the following week, but because of this being focused heavily on Pride, we want it to come out during Pride Month. So it'll go out tomorrow. I'll send you links if you want to share it as well. But thank you so much. Yeah. We're so happy that we made this work, because I know we had to schedule earlier in the month.
Yeah.
But,
random. I'm like, look, is that testicles on your mic?
yeah, it's a ball sack.
I was like, what? I'm like, am I seeing that right?
They glow in the dark.
Wow. I was like, are we teabagging somebody? Like, what is happening?
That was the original concept, was like to just be like, because it'd be funny.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gay. I'm for it.
The plan was we were both supposed to have them. Mine never came. It said it got mailed to me. It said it arrived.
And it got delivered too.
It never.
So, like,
I never found it.
Neighbors just like stole your package and got them.
I'm pretty sure, because I used to live in an apartment. I used to live in an apartment, and I'm pretty sure somebody stole it, opened it, and was like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, you could let me know beforehand. Granted, I might have gone a little bit overboard, but I could have propped a dildo right here while I was talking. Like,
that would have been fantastic.
A triumphant veiny bastard.
Yeah, it is pretty veiny though. Like, it's right. It's in my room, so like just prop it up while I'm talking. It's just distraction.
That would have been hilarious.
Love it.
Even if it would have been really funny if you just didn't even tell us about it, and you just brought it out and just like stuck it to the table.
We're gonna stop recording.
Yeah,
I just start stroking it while I'm talking. Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Anyway, thanks everyone.
Thank you, man. All right, everyone. So we're gonna go ahead and close out this episode. This was such a great interview. It seems like every time we do an interview, we just say that might be our favorite interview. And every time we're proven wrong with our next interview. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much to Micael to being here. But
that was amazing.
Yeah. Jake,
I had a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
The biggest thing, and I kind of just mentioned this, but the biggest thing is that when we started this podcast, it was just for fun. And it's kind of it hasn't blown up. Like, we're not famous, obviously, but like, it's blown up more than we ever expected it to. And it's just so much fun. And so when we get interviews like this with Micael, where it's just, we get lost in fun and just bullshitting rather than sticking to the script and like robotic, like, which we've had those interviews too. This was just a lot of fun. Again, thanks again, Micael. You were amazing. This is a fun one.
Yeah, it was an absolute blast. And from there, I mean, we do have our web store, our brand new website. It's been out for a couple of 2 weeks now.
Give us your money.
Yeah, give us our money. Give us your money. Don't give us our money. We already have that.
Give us your money. And we already give ourselves our money.
It's called a budget. But yeah, I mean, check us out online, www.allthingsnerdpodcast.com. Brand new website. Our web store is connected to it. great way to support us. We also have our Patreon page. If you want to give monthly, it gives you a little bit more above
You
and
could
beyond.
also just tell me that you're proud of me. That would be a good way to support us.
You hear that, Jake's dad? Sorry, that was mean. But in all seriousness, any way that you guys can support us, if you want to, would mean the world to us, whether it's giving monthly, purchasing from our store, or just
Or just
subscribing,
being here.
liking
or
us,
just being here and
interacting
with
with
us.
our posts.
Yeah.
You know, we don't get paid off of comments or likes. We don't, but it still makes us
Happy.
feel like we're doing something important.
Yeah.
So do all of that and more, I suppose. Anyways, we love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We're not going to do a shot. We've been doing a lot tonight. So
Cheers.
cheers. This is the All Things Nerd podcast.